You blocked them, you stopped chasing, you finally started healing. And then, suddenly, they come back. A message, a like, a random, I was thinking about you. And you start wondering, do they miss me? Did they finally realize what they lost? Maybe they changed. But the truth is far more psychological. And once you understand it, everything starts to make sense. Because narcissists don't come back for love. They come back for something else. And today we're going to talk about exactly what that is and why your brain still reacts when it happens. If you've ever felt your heart race when their name appears on your phone, this video is for you. Most people think narcissists come back because they regret losing you. But regret requires empathy. And empathy is exactly what narcissistic personalities lack. What actually happens is something psychologists often describe as supply disruption. When you were in the relationship, you provided emotional energy, attention, validation, reaction, effort. That emotional response becomes a kind of fuel, not love, fuel.
You always do this.
Because you never listen.
That's not fair.
Fair, you don't care.
Because
You
people
never
with strong
listen to me.
narcissistic traits rely
Because
on
you
external
shut me out.
validation to stabilize
trying
their
to
sense of
protect you.
identity.
From what? The
Without
truth.
it, they feel empty, restless, unstable. So they start looking for ways to restore control. And one of the fastest ways to do that is to see
Why
if
am
they
I
can
doubting
still
myself
reach you.
like
But
this?
here's the part many
I
survivors
can't tell what's real anymore.
misunderstand.
This is
The
driving
moment
me
they
insane.
reappear, your body reacts. Not because you're weak, not because you secretly want them back, but because your brain was conditioned during the relationship. Narcissistic relationships often operate on intermittent reinforcement. This is the same psychological mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Sometimes you receive affection. Sometimes you receive silence. Sometimes you receive criticism. Sometimes love. Your brain never knows what comes next. And that unpredictability causes dopamine spikes. Over time, your nervous system becomes trained to react to their attention. So when they suddenly come back, your brain remembers the pattern: hope, anxiety, curiosity, emotional activation. Even if logically you know better, this is not a failure of willpower, it's conditioning. One of the most common patterns survivors notice is timing. Narcissists often return right when you begin healing, right when you stop reaching out, right when you stop reacting, right when your life begins moving forward. This is not coincidence, because when you stop chasing, you break the dynamic that gave them psychological leverage. And that creates something
nothing.
narcissistic personalities
Why would you
struggle
text
with
back?
deeply: loss of control. When control disappears, they may attempt what psychologists call a hoovering behavior, named after the vacuum brand. Because the goal is simple: to pull you back into the emotional dynamic. Sometimes it looks like kindness. I miss talking to you. Sometimes curiosity.
Why won't you talk to
How have
me?
you been? Sometimes guilt.
Please,
I
just
just want
something.
closure.
This
And sometimes
silence is
even
killing me.
apologies. But the intention is rarely repair. The intention is reconnection to the emotional supply. The psychological hook they leave inside you. But there's something even more disturbing about why narcissists return. And it has nothing to do with what they feel. It has everything to do with what they left inside you. Because when you were in that relationship, your brain didn't experience love in a normal way. It experienced something closer to intermittent reward. Sometimes they were warm, sometimes they were cold, sometimes they disappeared, and then suddenly, they came back with affection, apologies, promises, attention. Those unpredictable emotional rewards are incredibly powerful. In fact, neuroscience shows that unpredictable rewards activate dopamine more intensely than consistent ones. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Your brain begins to chase the moment when the warmth returns. Not because it feels safe, but because the brain becomes wired to expect relief after pain. So when the narcissist disappears, your nervous system doesn't
What?
relax.
I don't
It waits,
understand.
it scans,
It's
it hopes.
complicated, just
And
trust me.
somewhere deep inside your body,
how
there's a
can I?
silent
You have to.
expectation that one day, your phone will light up again. And when it does, your brain releases a surge of emotional chemicals. Not because they deserve another chance, but because your nervous system remembers the cycle. Pain, silence, then relief. And narcissists understand this dynamic instinctively. They know that if they disappear long enough, their return will feel powerful. Not romantic, powerful. Because they're not returning to rebuild love. They're returning to reactivate the emotional system they once controlled. And the moment they send that message, "Hey, I was thinking about you," they're not asking for connection. They're pulling the psychological lever they installed inside your brain. There is another moment when narcissists almost always return, and it's the moment they realize something has changed. Not in them, in you, because as long as you were chasing them, the dynamic remained exactly where they wanted it. You were emotionally invested. You were reacting. You were still orbiting around them. But something shifts the moment you stop. The moment your messages disappear. The moment you stop explaining yourself. The moment your attention moves somewhere else. For narcissists, attention is not just validation, it's control. And when that control disappears, something deeply uncomfortable happens inside them. They feel irrelevant, invisible, replaceable. And for someone whose identity depends on external validation, that feeling can be unbearable, so they return. Not because they suddenly gain empathy, not because they suddenly understand the pain they caused. They return because your absence creates a psychological vacuum. And narcissists hate vacuums. They need
Those
emotional
happy
reactions
moments
to
now feel
stabilize
so
their sense of
painful.
self.
I
So they
love
test the
being
door
here
again.
with you.
A
Me
message,
too.
a
It's
like on
perfect.
social media. A casual, "How have you been?" Not necessarily to rebuild the relationship, but to check something much simpler. Are you still emotionally available to them? Is the door still open? Because if you respond the way you used to, the cycle can restart.
I know
But
it's
if
hard,
something in
but
you
please,
has truly changed,
I don't
if your
know
nervous
if I
system no longer reacts the
we'll
same
get through
way,
it.
then something surprising happens. Their return loses power because the one thing narcissists cannot control is someone who finally stopped needing their approval. But here's the most important part of all. Understanding why narcissists come back is not about them.
I'm not
It's
sure
about protecting your
this.
nervous system from
You have
repeating
to
the same
be.
cycle.
There's no other
When
way.
narcissists come
But I
back,
feel so
they often
trapped.
appear different, calmer, kinder, more
I can't believe
self-aware.
it was toxic
And that moment
all
creates
along.
powerful doubt. Because your brain remembers the person you hoped they could be, not the pattern they repeatedly showed you. But here's the key truth survivors eventually learn. Temporary change is not the same as transformation. Real change requires long-term self-reflection, accountability, therapy,
I don't
and
understand
sustained
what you
behavioral
mean.
shifts.
You're not
Most
making any
narcissistic
sense.
personalities avoid
Please
these processes
explain it
because
to
they
me
threaten
again.
their self-image. So
I've
instead,
been
they
sitting
return
here
with
thinking
words,
about us.
not structural change.
Why does it have to
which
be
is why
so
many
hard?
survivors experience a painful cycle. They
You
return,
can't keep
hope
avoiding this.
rises, the
We're
pattern
all
repeats.
just trying to help.
Healing from
I
narcissistic
feel
relationships
so
is
alone
not
in
just
this.
emotional, it's
I feel so
neurological.
hurt. You never make
Your
time for
nervous
me.
system is
You're
literally
overreacting.
learning
It's
a
not
new
a big
baseline.
deal.
How can you
Safety
say
instead
that?
of chaos,
Let's just drop it.
calm instead of hypervigilance, stability instead of unpredictability. Every time you resist re-entering the old dynamic, your brain rewires a
This
little more.
rain mirrors the
Your stress
tears I can't
hormones
cry
stabilize,
anymore.
your dopamine
The
system
pain just
resets,
echoes in the
your body
silence.
slowly exits survival mode. And over time, the emotional reaction to their presence begins to fade. This is why distance is so powerful.
I can't
Not
do
because
this
it punishes
anymore.
them, but because it
It's time
protects
I
you.
moved on.
At first, survivors ask, why do they keep coming back? But later, a different
I won't be
question emerges.
manipulated.
Why would I let
I am
them?
stronger than
That
this.
shift marks a major step in recovery because it means your focus has moved away from their behavior and back to your boundaries. The truth is, narcissists often return to relationships where they once had emotional access, but they can only re-enter if the door is open. And learning to keep that door closed is not cruelty, it's self-respect. If someone from your past suddenly reappears,
Looking back,
remember
I
this.
see how far
Their
I've
return does
come.
not mean they changed.
The past
Their
shaped
return
me,
does not
but
mean
it
the
doesn't
relationship
define
was
me.
real.
I've
And their
found
return
peace.
definitely does not mean you owe them
I
another
stand
chance.
here free from the
Sometimes
shadows of
people come back
manipulation.
simply to check if they still
My
can.
strength is my
But
own,
healing means
unbreakable and
recognizing
true.
that access to your life is no longer automatic. You survived the relationship, and here we help you survive it too.